Right. So in the last session, we have discussed about Java architecture, right? So the role of a Java architect when we are when we wants to work as an architect role and how all that stuff that was discussed. Wherein today I'm going to discuss about what expertise and what knowledge we must be having being a Java principal architect. That too from the domain perspective, because now and then we have different domains. Like one of the prominent domain is called healthcare. So being in healthcare domain expertise, including Java principal architect, because having both architectural knowledge followed by the healthcare knowledge is becoming inevitable nowadays for an architect positions. We are from the technical background, even though we are assume that we are in from the technical side, right? So we are in the technical background side, right? So we may have experience in having some good coding knowledge for a very long time in Java applications. But when we want to transform our positions to the architecture side, it's not only about understanding about the architectural vision principles, architectural patterns, all that. In addition to that, some kind of domain knowledge is also becoming important. In process of it, healthcare is important. So, being a Java principal architect, especially in healthcare, we must be having experience in pre-sales, because pre-sales process, by understanding about RFPs, RFQs, all these are becoming uh, really needed, especially for an architect positions. At the same time, we must be expertise in developing some technology evaluations, at the same time technical design and architecture, system designing by implementing different models, something like C4 model. All these things are needed. That is the point number one. Second, we should have that strong capacity of experience in developing technical capability presentations initially to start with, because when we are working on the pre-sales process, being a pre-sales team, because architects now and then right? So we are working as one of the key member in the pre-sales team. So that we will be supporting in developing some technical capability presentations, at the same time proposal creations, everything we have to participate. That is really becoming important, because if you are a developer, then that's a different thing. But when we are moving ourselves into a principal architect roles, it's always important for us to understand about the technical capabilities, etc., all that. Next, we should capable in understanding various technologies, including legacy systems, cutting edge solutions, the cloud services applications now and then, right? So we are moving towards cloud now, from old legacy systems to the new cloud applications we are moving on. So that deep understanding over the technologies is becoming even important more. Next part about presentation of the technical information, including the strategic planning and as well as customer interaction, because most of the people have some misconception over principal architecture, right? So Java technical principal architecture is completely a technical part to an extent possible, which is true. But some profiles now and then required some kind of strategic planning expertise even, right? So understanding about the functionality and how we have identified the solution and how we are implementing a strategy to develop a solution. That sort of strategic understanding is even required. That's the reason why strategic planning is needed. That's what something we are discussing in our course, as you know that. Next, need to have some solution architecture, as I mentioned you. So wherein we need to have some architectural patterns, high availabilities. By considering some non-functional requirements we are gathering from the business analyst team, by understanding some non-functional requirements like availability, performance, scalability, scaling out the architectures. At the same time, if there is any data loss, right? So how the disaster recovery and as the security architectures, about the knowledge about the cloud-based architectures and deployments. So that kind of expertise and knowledge you must be good with. Next, to understand about API-driven architecture, now and then is becoming essential. So understanding about API-driven architecture and different architectural styles, like earlier we used to have monolithic, now we are working on some microservices, etc. So wherein by understanding about the orchestration, at the same time implementing some DevOps CI and CD implementation, because now and then teams are moving towards DevOps side, wherein by creating some DevOps pipelines for continuous integration and deployment and delivery, so that if there is any changes happens, there won't be any difficulty in managing it. So create data pipelines by implementing DevOps, so that we are using Azure DevOps. Of course, in the last session I have told you. So we need to draw those. Using Azure DevOps is prominent tool we are using. So there we need to create some pipelines. At the same time, messaging structure. So these are all are becoming important, along with some cloud knowledge, any one cloud knowledge, because I prefer Azure, because AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, IBM, right? So we have many, but Azure is our focus when it comes to the cloud native services are concerned. So that must be the one which we are focusing more. Followed by that, we need to working on some data platform analytical point of view, analytical thinking, analytical ability, implementing different analytical tools. Results by implementing some analytical tools are becoming important, right? So understanding those analytics. At the same time, knowledge over any kind of low-code automation platforms, wherein now and then we are using business process management tools called APM, BPM or something. And one of the prominent knowledge now and then the transformation happening towards artificial intelligence and machine learning. So which is of course optional, because I don't say for every profile it is required. So understanding over artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, NLPs, so neural networks. So that sort of understanding, of course, that is anyway that I have made it as a part. You know that, because in the last session even I told you that. So AML, I don't say that the detailed AML, detailed understanding and detailed expertise is not mandatory, but to have a knowledge over AML, deep learning and NLP, how it works, it's using some TensorFlow, PyTorch, right? So we have different tools that even required. That is also we must be good with, right? So tomorrow we start with pre-sales concepts first. Okay, so first of all, you need to know about the pre-sales process, because I could see many people are come from the technical background, but understanding the functional and pre-sales part, functional healthcare part is also essentially needed. So let's start with pre-sales from tomorrow onwards.